Dustin, the Diamond Poirier Lafayette product. I was lucky enough to talk to him earlier on before one of his fights. I have a chance to talk to him now as he's coming off of 2 straight knockouts. And Dustin, just a couple things for you. I know you're a busy man, but just speaking of those 2 fights, they ended in performance of the night finishes. And let's just go ahead and start with the Ferreira knockout. You sized him up with the left, then you finished him with a clean right and some ground and pound. How confident are you right now in your boxing ability and your ability to win a stand-up fight?
I'm always confident in my hands, but after getting the results we've been getting, I'm just excited to do it again. I've always known I've had power in my hand, and going back to 155, I just reassured it.
So that change in weight for you, is it one of those things where you just feel more comfortable at 155?
Yeah, I feel more powerful. I feel more like myself. I was really draining myself a lot to get down to the featherweight limit.
And your fight against Ferreira was in last April. Then you followed it up with another knockout against Yancy Medeiros. That was only 2 months afterwards. First off, what was it like having that quick of a turnaround? And then how different is this fight at UFC 195 because you've had so long to prepare for this?
Fighting back-to-back like that, it's sometimes challenging because you do 2 training camps back-to-back. And, of course, you're going to accumulate bumps and bruises here and injuries and stuff like that. So staying in top shape and performing at the level in the gym you need to be able to for that amount of time is it's tough, but if you do it right and you have good coaches around you, you can do it safely,
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those things where you haven't had a UFC fight since I mentioned last June, and it's not like you haven't been in the octagon. I know you have training partners and everything like that, so you're staying hungry, but just, I mean, how much of an appetite have you got to just get back in there on that UFC stage?
I'm excited, man. I'm looking forward to going through everything this fight week has to bring. The weight cut, I'm not cutting a whole lot of weight now, so it's not that big of a deal for me. I'm ready to go to Vegas, man. I'm ready to get next week started.
That's true. And I'm just sitting on your last 2 wins for a second because they've been impressive, man. They've been quick and they've been dominant. And I went ahead and I watched them a couple times. You just came out and you swarmed them from the beginning of the fight. You never let them breathe, and you finished it with your hands. What's been different in you lately as a fighter, and what kind of tapped this knockout streak from you?
I'm just growing and maturing in the sport. I've been fighting a long time, and I've been in the big stage a long time now too. I think I made my WEC debut in Las Vegas in 2010, and it's just maturity. I'm comfortable with myself. I'm having fun. I've stopped putting so much pressure on myself. I used to wear myself down before the fight happened just because I would overthink a lot of things, and I cared so much. But, now I'm just trusting in my ability and trusting in my training and enjoying the ride.
Yeah, and you're talking about that maturity and just those bright lights leading up to the fight. You mentioned cutting weight and all the stuff that goes into it. I mean, what's kind of made it easier for you? Is it just putting the time in? Has it been guys on your team? Have you had someone who's kind of helped you settle into your own routine? What's helped you kind of mature?
I'm around a lot of great guys in the gym. World champion Robbie Lawler, who's going to be fighting on the card as well. I'm learning a lot from him, and guys like Mike Brown and just vets like Eve Edwards, guys who I talk to and who I'm close with, and I've kind of picked their brains about the game and things that they've done in the past, and like I said, honestly, man, I'm just more comfortable with where I'm at in life. I would pressure myself a lot and think I have to do this and have to do that, and I would overtrain a lot, and I'm just enjoying it. I'm a fighter, and I'm looking forward to the fight, and then that's it.
Yeah, I'm about to get into your matchup here in just 1 second, but you mentioned being on the same card as Robbie. What's that like for you, man?
It's fun because I get to do my training camp with him. I get to prepare like the champ does, and train alongside of him. So that's fun.
All right, and now let's get into your matchup. You and Joe Duffy were supposed to fight on his turf in Ireland, but now you guys are fighting in Vegas. You mentioned it's somewhere where you're familiar with. Do you even care where you're fighting him, or are you just ready to finally get back in the octagon again on such a big stage in the UFC?
I had such a good turnout in Dublin, man. The fans were awesome. they showed me nothing but love, and the crowd was ridiculous that night. Honestly, I would have enjoyed fighting in Ireland. But now we're going back to a building where I made my UFC debut in January 1st, 2011. So it'll be 5 years exactly the day we weigh in inside that building that I first fought in the UFC. So it's kind of like a homecoming for me.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a nostalgia for you, said, kind of going back to your roots.
For sure.
All right, and then just, again, about the Duffy fight. He's 14-1. He's coming off 2 first-round finishes himself. What kind of a fight are you expecting?
He's a pressure fighter. He walks forward. So I'm expecting a high pace, a high volume. It's going to be a fan-friendly fight. This is the kind of fights that I want to be part of. And true MMA fans, don't miss this one, man.
That's true. And if you get another quick finish in this one, I don't know, is it one of those things where you hope Dana White and his people start noticing, hey, man, a couple straight finishes for you, boy?
Oh, they notice. They know what's going on.
All right. Last one for you, Dustin. And thanks for stopping by the show. Last time we talked, you said you would celebrate when you came back into Lafayette and with maybe some Dino's Pizza or something like that. If you win this fight in Vegas, you mentioned kind of almost like a homecoming, and it'd make 3 straight victories. Do you have any plans to celebrate? I imagine that's probably too far down the road for you right now, though.
It's next weekend. It's not too far. I might have a good steak dinner or some pizza and maybe a beer and hang out and watch Robbie's fight. I have plenty of time. I'm fighting early in the day, and Robbie's the main event. So I'll get showered up and eat the good food and sit down and watch him win or keep his belt.
Well, guys, Dustin the Diamond Poirier, local product. Lafayette, man, has been blowing up the UFC scene. UFC 195, Lawler versus Condit, Saturday, January 2nd, MGM Grand Arena in Las Vegas. And make sure you watch Dustin on the UFC Fight Pass. I'm telling you, I downloaded it. It's a great thing to have. You don't miss any of the fights. Dustin, I'm going to be cheering for you. Lafayette will have your back, man, and good luck in the fight. I hope you get 3 straight.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.